Hi, welcome everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in again for another week with the Cultivated Roots Project. I am Rosamund Dixon. I am the curator of this channel. And this week we are going to discuss the simple yet complex name. So let me give you a brief story. Let's start from my early childhood. So I was named after my mom's cousin, Rosamond, which is a traditional Creole Sierra Leone name. However, because my mother's maiden name is Rose, I'm supposed to not be Rosamond. I'm supposed to be Rosamond. So all throughout my life, for the first part of my life, I was Rosamond. And so in the house or around my family, I was Rosie. I am the Lastina. So Lastina in Creole or in Sierra Leone is the last girl of the family. So I am the baby of my siblings and of the house. So I was Rosie, I was Lastina. That was just my terms of endearment. However, I was in private school and I was registered under my government name of Rosamond, and they would butcher my name. I was Roseanne, Rosemary, Raymond, Ronald. People would ask me questions. And as a kid, you don't want to be different. You want to blend in. You want to fit in with the in crowd. I was like 5 or 6. So when my mom and dad moved me from private school to elementary school, I begged and pleaded for my mother to let me go by my middle name, Jacqueline. So that's where the confusion lies. Jacqueline is my middle name, and a lot of people know me as Jacqueline. Jacqueline's probably the most common of my names that everybody knows. And Rosamond, I tend to go by that name professionally. And so it then moves into around 15, 16. Unfortunately, around 9/11, I was 15 around 9/11. And I was traveling, so I needed to get an ID. I needed to get a government issued ID. So I had to go get my birth certificate and go down to go get it done. I'm standing in line with my mom, and I see that on my birth certificate, it's not even Rosamond. It's Rosamond. Rosamond. This is the very first time I heard of this. Like when I was around family or during, community functions, people would say Rosamond, Rosamond, Rosamond. And I'm like, these Africans just butcher my name because they used to call my brother Hanold instead of Arnold. But I had no idea that my legal name was Rosamond. So I'm talking to my mom and she's like, oh, if y'all know my mom, she's so like nonchalant. She's like, oh, I don't know, probably doped up or something and spelt it wrong. But your name is Rosamond. Your name is supposed to be Rosamond. You're carrying on the family name. So I was like, okay. So I went to high school, but my name was Jacqueline R. Dixon. Then 12th grade happened. And they had to do some housekeeping and get all the legalities in order to issue my state diploma. So they asked me, Miss Dixon, I said, can you please verify the name that will be on your government issued high school diploma? It said Jacqueline Rosamund Dixon. So I said, let's just be real. My name is Rosamund Jacqueline Dixon. So they said, okay, so we're going to change it. This was at, I think, the top of the year or maybe second semester, third semester. I can't remember. So they changed it in the system. So I remember being in 12th grade English class and AP, I was a smart kid. And I remember one of my classmates was reading attendance and she was like, Rosamond? Who's Rosamond? And I was like, it's me. They were like, I've known you all your life and I had no idea that your first name at that was Rosamond. And I was like, yeah, it's my African name. And she was Nigerian and she has a very authentic Igbo name. And she was just like, you're not African. That's not an African name. I'm like, yes, it is. That's like my name. Like nobody else has it. It's awkward. It's different. It may not sound like yours, but it's my name. And she was like, you're not a real African. So I just was like, if it's not real, why is it so different? Right? So I decided to register in school, university, undergraduate, as Rosamund J. Dixon. Decided, okay, let me turn a new leaf, professionally, I'm going to be known as Rosamund, be this adult person, blah, 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 blah. And again, I'm sitting in a community service event or group, and everybody was going around. This was my freshman year, so I went to a state university in Maryland. I'm from Maryland. I went to a state university, so a lot of my classmates, a lot of my peers were at school with me. So we're sitting at this community service, like introduction meeting, and we're going around in a circle, and I'm like, hello everyone, my name is Rosamund Dixon. And my friend from high school was like, Rosamond? Your name isn't Rosamond? Girl, your name is Jackie. And everybody started busting out laughing. And I was just like, I don't know who I am. And that, I think for me, was one of the times when I was just like, I have like a slight identity crisis. I don't know if anybody else out there has an identity crisis where you're known as one thing at home, around your family, around your, childhood friends in the neighborhood, and then you have your school name, the name that everybody knows. So it was kind of like you can distinguish. If this person calls me Rosamond, I'm like, you probably even know me professionally in college or through a family friend. If you know me by Jackie, I'm probably can mess with you because you know me on like a personal level or whatever. And so it's like, I just had so many different variations of my name, but I had to really love who I was, learn my name, understand my name, that it wasn't just, a name that my aunt had and I'm carrying on the family name, but it really was a sense of who I was, my culture, my pride, because like I said in my previous videos is that Rosamond is an Old English name. Rosamond is an Old English name. A lot of Creoles from Freetown, or a lot of Creoles in general, have those Old English names. So it's just who we were, who I was. So I can identify myself as a Creole because my name, not even just because of everything else, but my name oozes Creole-ness. And it sucks because I don't have a typical African name, and people think that I've changed it or my parents modified it or they want to sound more English or whatever the situation is. But in all actuality, slavery is a part of my history. English colonization is a part of my history, but that in terms does not make me any less African. Now, of course, I introduce myself as Rosamund because that's who I am professionally, and this is professional. But you could call me Jackie. You can call me Rosamund. You could call me Rosie. You could call me Rosa. You could call me Jackie. Rose. Y'all know Rose. Rose. That's my nickname. But yeah, so that's my name. I do want my children, whenever I do have children, to also have older English names similar to my own and similar to Creoles, because one, it's distinguishing. People tell me my name is Regal, and I, if y'all didn't know, I am royalty. But even still, in a sense, names mean so much, and I want you guys to also pay attention to the other stories from my friends and my colleagues that they share about their names, because no matter from where you are in the world, names are so important. Names hold so much heritage, whether it's a first name or a surname. So wear your name and wear it proud. And if it's something that is culturally taken and it's a part of your culture, make sure that you allow people to say the entire thing. Don't butcher it. Don't chop it up. Don't shorten it. No, you can't call me Rose. No, you can't call me Rosa if you can't say Rosamund. My name is Rosamund Jacqueline Dixon, and I am cultivating my roots.